people were there to film, the ones that we had the information on. I was upset. I was mad. After the third one, I was angry. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to break something. I'm furious. I wanted to do something, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't have anyone to talk to. My house was silent for a week. We did not speak. What can a guy in Elmwood do? I have no voice. No one will listen to me. After talking to a friend for about 2 hours, Brandon's Black History was created. The focus is to teach history that was not taught in school. The history books make America look so amazing, but when you start to researching on your own, you find the truth. We are not taught the real history of America, only what they want us to know. Black history is only taught in February and touches on the same subjects every year, over and over, if it's even taught. The history has been touched on during the history that has been touched on during my classes in the last month that nobody has heard of, nobody has learned about. Black Wall Street, the black community in Tulsa, Oklahoma, that was burned to the ground by white mobs in 1921. Juneteenth, the day that all slaves were freed in Texas. That was 2 years later, after all the other slaves were freed. The Black Panthers, who started great social programs that we still use today. One leader of the Black Panthers that you probably don't know was Mark Clark. Mark Clark was from Peoria, Illinois. Think about that, from Peoria, Illinois. Mark Clark was then assassinated December 4th, 1964, with Fred Hampton Sr. in their sleep. They weren't doing anything. They were sleeping, but the government didn't want them around. So they went and raided their apartment. Seneca Village, another community, destroyed to make Central Park. This is something that everybody in my class did not hear about. I asked my dad about it and he didn't know about it. You see all of this stuff that is not taught. You don't hear about any of it. So then people question, why Black Lives Matter? Why a rally? Why this? You're not that oppressed. This has been happening since the end of slavery, well, since before slavery. It's been happening. The Reverend Joe Carter, my cousin, who was one of the first African Americans to register to vote in 61 years in the west side of Baton Rouge, who then sat at home with a gun on his porch because the Klan was going to come after him. Another lesson that I will touch on is a lesson of black people going to vote, and it became a massacre. The Klan showed up and took them out. So why have a Black Lives rally? Why? Because what you see in 2020, because you don't know about the history, that's why. That's why we need to have these rallies. That's why we need to come together. Red Summer 1919, 97 lynchings across America. 97. People burned alive in the streets. Kids killed. police officers breaking into houses, people being beat on the street in front of our White House because of an accusation by one person. Why do we need to have a rally? Why do you think people are oppressed? Because it's in our history. That's why. Black history is American history. It needs to be taught with all other history, not just 1 month. Think about this. Think about it. Black history gets 1 month. How long do you go to school? I'm not going to count kindergarten. So from 1st grade to 12th grade, you get 1 full year of Black history for 12 years that you're in school. 1 year for 12 years that you're in school is what you get for Black history. And it is the same thing that they go over every year. Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, and slavery. If they even touch on it that year. So why start these classes? Why do this? Why bring education to people? Because if we don't know the history, we will repeat what happened 101 years ago in 1919. We don't want race wars. We want unity. We want people to come together. We don't want to fight. We want people to stand against the enemy. We want people to be together. We want to accept everyone. Why does this have to keep happening? Why does this keep happening? If you study the history, you'll know. Drowning out the message does nothing for anyone but the people in power. The people who believe that their country is theirs because the color of their skin. There is a movement going on, a movement to help the oppressed. Remember, there are people out there who believe they are superior because of the color of their skin. It has been that way since the birth of our nation. We as a nation, one nation under God, must start fighting for our brothers and sisters that are and have been oppressed. It is time to take a stand together against the enemy. Don't let words or a slogan divide our country or our town. The civil rights movement did not die with Martin Luther King Jr. It did not die with Malcolm X. We are still here in 2020 asking to be treated civilly. Together, we can make change. Together, we can build a better America for everyone. Together, we stand, and united, we fall. Dr. King said, the time is right to do what is right. Are you standing for one another? Are you taking those words that have been said years ago and living them today? I myself, I said it in one of my classes, I'm living Martin Luther King's dream right now. I am able to stand in front of people that do not look like me. I am able to live in a community with people that I do not look like. My wife, my kid. This is the dream that Martin Luther King had. This is the dream that I'm living today. This is a dream that, by all means, is not over. What he wanted is not fulfilled yet. This rally in Elmwood is to show a safe place for the oppressed people. It doesn't matter if it happens here or if it happens in any other city. We should show we stand with you, and we stand against hate, we stand against wrong, we stand for what is right. The same as when the Underground Railroad went through our town.